Petty in his final NASCAR Winston Cup race is currently in 26th position. 65 starts here in Atlanta, 6 wins, 22 top 5 finishes. And we now recall another magical moment in Richard Petty's history in this Petty memory.
This Richard Petty memory is brought to you by the First Brands Corporation, makers of STP gas treatment. 1979, the championship is on the line between Richard Petty and Darrell Waltrip at Ontario, California. But the King collects his 7th title in what may have been his most challenging crown.
The most gratifying would have been the 7th championship in '79. It came down to the last race at California, at Ontario, California, and I think he was 3 points ahead of us or something like that. We're one position would have made a difference. It was a deal that Buddy Baker, I think, had set on pole, or he was up front and I was up front qualifying. And Buddy told me, he said, you know, said, we get out in front here right early. He said, I'll pull over and let you go, and you get 5 points, so you'll get back in front of the point deal. So Darrell sort of seen what we was doing then, because then he's 2 points behind. So when they have the caution flag, then Darrell stays out to get his 5 points back. Well, when he does that, then when he does make his pit stop, he gets in the back of the line. Then somebody spins out, and Darrell's got to spin to miss him. He winds up losing a lap, and we wind up winning the point standing by 11 points or something like that.
He's back. This time we get him. STP gas treatment. Cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
Now you can own the definitive documentary on the King. A production as hard-driving as the man himself, Richard Petty, the legend. This limited edition 2-volume home video is sure to become a collector's item. You'll see all the highlights from the greatest career in stock car racing history. 7 NASCAR championships, 7 Daytona 500 wins, 200 wins in all. But you'll also see Richard Petty, the businessman and family man, including never-before-seen home movies from the Petty's personal collection. Along with your video, you'll also receive this limited edition Petty collector's car. And if you order now, you'll also receive this free commemorative poster. To order, call 1-800-547-4343 or send $38.95 plus $5 shipping and handling to Richard Petty, the legend. 805B Franklin Court, Marietta, Georgia 30067.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we are getting set to go green, but boy, the field looks pretty ragged, doesn't it?
Yeah,
they're not going to start them. They're not going to start them.
No, they can't start them this way. See what happened. There were some of those drivers that had made pit stops under the green. They did not come in now. Bill Elliott is the leader of the race, but there's about 4 or 5 cars in front of him that technically are in the lead lap. Elliott was trying to pull up on the outside. He can't do that. He's got to line up behind those drivers who are still in the lead lap in front of him.
See, Earnhardt is a lap down.
He's 2 laps down.
He's 2 laps down. I mean, he's a lap down, and 2 laps down once the leader should go by.
Does Alan Kulwicki have a problem, Jerry?
Bob, let's find out. We heard Alan having trouble leaving pit road. Danny Glad, is there a problem in the transmission?
Yeah, Jerry, the problem we run into is on these bigger racetracks where we have to run a taller rear-end ratio. We have to run a lower first gear to get the car moving, and it's a brittle gear. They make a real expensive gear just for the application. We run it, but it's just a very brittle, it's hard on it. And we tore first gear out of the transmission. We'll have to leave the pit road in second gear, but we'll be all right.
Alan Kulwicki minus first gear, guys, early on.
Let's take a look at the top 5 now. After 68 laps, it's Elliott leading. Kulwicki is second, followed by Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, and Harry Gant. Now, the points as of this moment. Allison is in 6th position, but still maintains the points lead. Kulwicki is second, only 10 behind, and Bill Elliott is the leader of the race, and Elliott Kulwicki right now tied in the points. Back for the start after this. W on pit road.
They finally get this thing settled.
Yeah, Kyle is not. He should be up on the outside lane. Maybe that's his choice, but he'd be better off up there because he's technically is in the lead lap.
Elliott's the guy they put back.
Yeah, and that was right. That was exactly right.
So Earnhardt and Irvin are at the tail end of the lead lap.
Well, no, Earnhardt he's tail end of 2 down, but Irvin is at the tail end of the lead lap. Jeff Bodine and Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte, all of those are at the tail end of the lead lap. They make pit stops.
Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Jerry Punch, and John Kernan welcome you back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we are about to go green as the largest sports crowd in Georgia history looks on. Restarting the Hooters 500, the final race of the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
You wouldn't believe the guy running about 10th is leading the race, but that's what's happening. Bill Elliott is the leader, and all these cars in front of Elliott laps down, trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap, and hope the caution flag comes out so they can get that lap back. And once again, gas has played into Bill Elliott's hands. Remember in the spring, he did not have the best car here, but he won the race because he stretched the fuel stop and caught all the other guys in the pits and a lap down.
Admittedly, Bill Elliott had about a 7th or 8th place finish car, but he played it very smart. He and the Junior Johnson team, they stayed out as long as they could, caught the yellow that they needed. That allowed Bill Elliott to win one of his 4 races in the early part of the 92 season.
Meanwhile, as we watch this, Ernie Irvin is driven by Dale Earnhardt. Remember how they led the race earlier on?
Here is Alan Kulwicki going to the inside of Bill, and this is the battle for the lead. And I believe Alan Kulwicki would get 5 bonus points for leading that lap. He was slightly ahead of Bill when they crossed the line.
And the point and the scoring stand is here at the start-finish line in Atlanta. If the scoring stand is another location, now here comes Rudd on the outside of Kulwicki.
Well, he will get credit for leading that lap, and thus has led in 20 races during the 1992 season, more than any other driver.
As I started to say, some racetracks have the scoring stand at different locations, and it does not matter if it's a start-finish line, it's at the scoring stand, the individual. There's Davey Allison, their points leader. Davey Allison right now is running in 6th spot.
This is from Morgan Shepherd's boot camp. Good documentation of the damage there on the left rear of Davies' car, sustained in that second lap accident that took out Brett Bodine, Hunt Strickland, and sent them to local hospitals, but they are not seriously injured. At least that is the preliminary report. There's Harry Gant right ahead of Davey, and Harry is another one of those 6 that has a mathematical shot at the championship, but the word is that Harry is not feeling well. He has the flu and may, at some point, get relief. John?
Well, you're exactly right, Bob. I was talking with his car owner, Leo Jackson, this morning. He said the car was great, everything was great. The only thing that worried him, Harry had been sick all weekend with the flu. During that last caution period, after making the pit stop, Harry radioed back in. He said, hey, you might want to think about going and finding my Skoll teammate Rick Mast to see if he will relief drive for me if it gets to that point. But complicating that factor is the fact that Rick has finally got his car put back together. Rick is back out there on the racetrack. So Harry's hanging with it right now. There is no relief driver yet who's reported to his pit area, but we will keep you apprised of the situation.
Rick Mast is on the racetrack. He's going very slowly. He was the point sitter of this race, certainly not on pace, but just trying to pick up some points in the standings. Looking back on Davey Allison from Richard Petty's in-car camera.
line of Richard and passes it.
You've seen this scene many, many times, and we're watching now. Looking through the windshield of the race car. Going down in the corner. 1,185 races.
And both of you guys have had the experience of watching that car either run in front of you, behind you, but probably more than not ahead of you.
Most of the time in front of me, yeah.
He was always right there.
As we watch Petty and Harry again, once again now Earnhardt has gotten back by Ernie Irvin, so let's get their own little more going on in front. Harry again is fourth in the points and is 97 points behind, but right now he is behind the three front runners on the racetrack. There's their lead of the race, Bill Elliott. There's second place car, Alan Kulwicki, and Kulwicki could get in front, lead a lap, and go on and lead the most laps. Put a lot of pressure on Davey Allison.
Kulwicki leads that lap, but again, he's already picked up to 5 bonus points. And this is neat, gentlemen, seeing these two battle for the lead. As you pointed out so accurately in your stand-up opens, that we're not going to see any stroking today. No driver is going to run for 11th or better or 15th or better. All of these drivers that are in the hunt for the championship are flat out today.
And we see Mark Martin coming in the mix. He's had an awfully fast race car all afternoon so far.
And another one of the 6 eligible, or at least mathematically eligible to win the title. Look at Mark come up.
Look at his come up on these two. Wow.
Another half a field summary.
When he came up behind Kulwicki, it got Allen just a little bit loose. Kulwicki had to squeeze out the gas. He tried it one more time.
Watch them go high.
Oh!
Under.
3 wide and 4. Martin may have the lead.
Let's see, here he comes.
Nope. Elliott led at the line. 23 cars remain on the lead lap.
Watch Mark go by Bill Elliott and take the lead. Is he in the lead?
Yes, sure is.
He's not a guy who made one of those early pit stops.
And a car goes slowly on the racetrack. That's Bob Shack to number 57.
He's down in turn 1, so he will not be able to get back. So as a matter of fact, this car just stopped. The caution flag will be coming out in just a moment.
It's going to be a break for about 5 guys right up in front of Mark Martin. He is bearing down on him. But if the caution comes out, they're going to get to go around, and that would be Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, and the caution is out. Jeff Bodine, Rusty Wallace, and Terry Labonte. Good break here.
It's the 3rd caution period of the day. There you can see Mark Martin signaling to the drivers behind him that the caution is out. These cars that are running ahead of Mark Martin will be able to encircle the entire racetrack.
What happens is that the pace car pulls on the racetrack in front of the leader of the race, Mark Martin, and everyone catches up to Mark Martin. So if Martin is the leader, all the fellows in front of him get to go all the way around the racetrack and make up basically a mile and a half.
There's the reason for the caution, the stall car of Bob Shack at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Yes, sir. Let me get everything I need to get here. I need a secretary up here. Here we go. All right. Actually, Lynn, let me give you all this. Okay, I got it, what I need, but I'll give it to you when I'm done. Whoops, Spencer just missed his pit. Can he back up on pit road? No.
I think so.
No. ESPN Speed World today at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Hooters 500, the finale of the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup season. We are under our third caution period of the day because of Bob Shack's stalled car. And the field now on the backstretch, but this is how they came out of the pit area after their pit stops.
First car we see on the end of pit road is Mark Martin. All these other cars coming in the pits. Jimmy Spencer was going out of the pits. Davey Allison comes out in first. Davey Allison is going to lead this race, Ned.
And
Davey Allison going to pick up 5 bonus points. So evidently they changed 2 tires or something to get him back out in front.
I think they did. Well, tonight here on ESPN, it's the battle of the New York Giants against the Denver Broncos. The NFC West leading Broncos, led by strong-arm quarterback John Elway, take on the 5-4 New York Giants, who are battling to capture an NFC wild card. 8 o'clock tonight, 5 on the West Coast, the Giants and the Broncos. NFL Sunday Night Football here on ESPN. Once again, today's race includes the Gillette Halfway Challenge. $10,000 to the driver leading the halfway lap, and a lucky fan at home could win a new Chevrolet Lumina Z34. If you have entered the contest for this race and your entry is selected and you are called at home, you must name the driver who won the Gillette Halfway Challenge $10,000 reward to win the Chevrolet Lumina Z34. Now, let me tell you that the drivers that made up a lap, including Ernie Irvan, the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Jeff Bodine.
And there we see Bob Shack's car. They got the car started. Now he's come to a stop again at the start-finish line, so they got to get a wrecker out to push him up. And we see the Goodyear tires, the yellow, the Goodyear now is in yellow instead of the white that we've seen for the last 15 years. So if you see these cars going out on a racetrack and see yellow paint, it didn't come off of another race car. It came off. The tires are now yellow.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Guys, answering your question, Davey Allison did change just 2 tires, 2 right side tires. That'll explain that quick pit stop. And also explaining Alan Kulwicki's problem. He does not have first gear, as you heard Danny Glad say. And remember, NASCAR rules prohibit a crew from pushing a car out of the pits. It's a safety move, but NASCAR will allow you to push a car if you've lost a gear. And they've now given the Kulwicki crew a chance to push their car out of the pits, and that probably saved Kulwicki maybe 5 or 6 seconds getting the car moving here on this pit stop.
Well, they were holding Bob Shack's car at the starting line. It did not stall. They were just holding it until the field came around. So we are still under our third caution of the day, and we'll return with more live action right after these messages. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to give you some of this stuff. I'm going to give you Gillette, SeaWorld, and all of these. These are the promos.
One to go.
Who does?
Here you go.
I don't need it right now, but I've lost my pencil already. It's gone. It is history. The final race for King Richard Petty and the decision on who wins the Winston Cup Championship for 1992 here today at the Hooters 500, live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Well, the number 11 car of Bill Elliott, the 7 car of Alan Kulwicki, and the 28 car of Davey Allison, the top 3 in the points, have now each led a lap, and so each has picked up the 5 bonus points.
So they're back where they started.
They're right back where they started, exactly.
Here comes the restart now. The green flag waves.
And Jimmy Hensley's in second place. The Trump Arctic Ford.
Mark Martin third, Harry Gant fourth, and Elliott is fifth.
Here comes Kyle Petty, the mellow yellow Pontiac, trying to get a lap back, trying to get by Davey Allison.
Kyle, of course, was one of those drivers that made a green flag pit stop just before the second caution came out. Dale Jarrett right there, he also was one of those drivers. But Mark Martin's going to take care of both of them.
Ahead of Davey Allison, trying to get that lap back. We're watching from Mark Martin's car as he tries to take the lead.
Kyle Petty gets by Davey Allison, moves up in front of him, and now here comes Martin trying to take the lead back. Kyle Petty is 5th in points, Mark Martin is 6th in points.
So they're involved in a battle of their own somewhat, although again, Kyle is now at the tail end of the lead lap. The lap that Mark Martin leads.
15 points separating the two, Kyle Petty and Mark Martin.
Harry Gant now is third, just behind Davey Allison.
Hey, Harry looks pretty racy right there at the moment.
Here comes Earnhardt. He's still a lap down, but he's mowing him down. He's by Hensley.
There's Ricky Rudd in a 5 car, the 66 of Hensley, and Jeff Gordon in 24. This is the car that Jeff will be running all year next year, the same colors, DuPont. And by the way, Jeff Gordon has a $100,000 bonus if he can win this race today. Morgan Shepherd slowing from the roof cam. You can see how the car is not on pace.
No, he's way off the pace, Bob. He's heading into turn number 3 there right now. You see how far the leaders are out in front of him. Here's Davey Allison now trying to move around Kyle Petty. Mark Martin already put Kyle that lap down.
And Harry Gant, who was reported to be suffering from the flu, does not appear to be suffering all that much. He's running a strong third.
And he and Kyle Petty are 1 point apart. Ganson's fourth, Kyle Petty fifth in the point standings, and only 1 point separating the two.
And it's a difference at the banquet of $35,000.
Oh, that's nothing.
Maybe not in your world it isn't, but
the difference in first and second is 670. Oh, a crash down the front straightaway.
Ken Schrader, Wally Dallenbach,
Darrell Waltrip's involved.
And Richard Petty is flaming going into turn number 1.
He's knocked the oil cooler off his car, and the oil is on fire.
Richard Petty, the car is on fire. Petty has got the car stopped.
Get her in the fucking park. It'll go out. Fire extinguisher. It'll go out. That was Richard yelling to his crew, get a fire extinguisher down here.
Yeah, they got I pulled up to the fire truck.
Richard said, I pulled to the fire truck.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great presence of mind, right?
And what a way for the career of Richard Petty to end. Let's not say right now, though, that his race is over. They could get the car back going, but I doubt it.
Once again, Bill Elliott got through a crash. I didn't see what happened in the crash. I just looked up and saw stuff flying.
Yeah, Bill was up in front of it.
Davey Allison was in front of the crash. Should have been about mid-pack, I guess. Because Dick Tripp, one of the cars in the crash, was running 10th before the before the crash. There's Darrell Waltrip. We can see some heavy damage to the Western Auto Chevrolet.
Now the 3 cars here on the main straightaway and into turn 1 are Dick Trickle, Ken Schrader, and Wally Dallenbach, and then Richard Petty's car is down in the turn as there is the King out of the car. And this may be the final farewell.
But thank God he was able to walk away from it and wave to the fans.
But you know, they ought to take the King back to the garage here and something better than a record.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's not a good way to end a career that has been so great. Now here's the crash. That's Trickle.
Ooh,
look at Dallenbach get bumped around.
And there's Richard Petty going in and hitting Darrell Waltrip. Looks like the rest of these cars able to slow down without too much trouble. And Richard driving down to the fire truck, like he said. There's an oil cooler up there, as I said, right behind the left front fender. That was the hood I saw going up in the air. That
was that your eye level?
Yeah, right when the crash started.
Came off a Schrader's car, did it?
Not sure.
I think so, yes.
Well, it almost blocked the track there for a moment.
I would guess that someone came off the corner on the outside of another car, and the fellow didn't know he was there. Made contact. And I don't...
6 cars involved in the crash, and it's going to take a while to clean it up because there are a lot of damaged race cars and a lot of debris on the racetrack. It comes on lap number 96 of the Hooters 500 here at Atlanta.
Please don't do that. What's causing that? Boy, that is... Whew.
Does the speed shot show that what happened?
Neil, who we going to?
Jerry Punch.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. He's rode many a record.
The Hooters 500 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway under the 4th caution period of the afternoon because of a 6-car crash here on the main straightaway that involved Darrell Waltrip, Dick Trickle, Ken Schrader, Richard Petty, Wally Dallenbach, and Rich Bickle. And here is the replay.
There we see the Ken Schrader car, the white car, spinning. Also Dick Trickle, the dark car, spinning. As they go down the straightaway, other cars start going in the crash. There's Darrell Waltrip spinning. Dallenbach hits him. Bickle's in the mix. And Darrell and Richard Petty runs into Darrell Waltrip and knocks the oil cooler off his car. The oil goes back on the exhaust system, and there's where the fire came from.
Look at that hood way up in the air off Schrader's car.
Schrader spinning. He finally comes to a stop.
Well, Kenny Schrader got knocked around pretty good in that crash, and here's Jerry Punch.
And the good news, Bob, is Kenny is okay. Kenny, what happened out there?
Trickle's right behind me. and I went in turn on top, and he was like in the middle, and I turned from the top to the middle to get underneath Dale Jarrett, and he must have been a little tight. We just run out of space coming off 4. I mean, he caught me in the left rear just a little bit, but it's real tight over there, and I was trying to get underneath somebody, and he was trying to get underneath me, and we just run out of space.
Took some pretty heavy looks. Did you see Richard Petty come by?
No, I just saw a lot of smoke, a lot of stuff hitting.
Ken Schrader's car heavily damaged. He's okay. We might mention that Wally Dallenbach, Dick Trickle, and the other drivers most of them have walked past here and smiled and waved, even in defeat, guys.
And there's Ken Schrader's badly damaged Kodiak Chevrolet. He'll be back with the Rick Hendrick team in 1993.
With AC Delco as the sponsor.
Now here's a replay from the in-car camera of Richard Petty.
Oh, this ought to be good. There's Dallenbach right in front. Uh-oh, smoke. Oh, that's Rich Bickley ran into.
I thought it was Waltrip too.
Well, he hit Waltrip after Bickle had hit Waltrip and spun him around, yeah.
And you can see the flames coming out. We'll take a look at it again here in a moment. The car of Wally Dallenbach Jr. on the rollback. He took a good knock too. But everybody apparently is okay after 6 cars involved in a tangle here on the main straightaway. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
That's why they won't answer.
I did. Did I got time to say something?
You got any more of those?
We welcome you back on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Just couldn't ask for more perfect weather than this to end the season. It's a little bit cool, but you expect that this time of year. But boy, after Thursday when we arrived here, when it was just pouring down rain, we wondered if it was going to be nice for today, but it is perfect racing weather. The points as of now. Allison is on top. He is running in second position. Alan Kulwicki is fifth. Elliott is fourth, Gant third, Martin first. So you can see that the first 5 in points there running in the top 5, and Kyle Petty is running in 15th position. So as of right now, Davey Allison still on top in the battle for the Winston Cup. There's Wally Dallenbach Jr.'s badly damaged Keystone Ford that was involved in the accident here on the main straightaway.
So it's not a beautiful day for some people, Bob.
Yeah, that's for sure. But the good news is that everybody is apparently okay from that crash. Again, we had an accident on the second lap that sent Brett Bodine to the hospital. Here's Jerry.
Well, we've already seen Davey Allison, guys, avoid a couple of incidents. He could certainly have been knocked out already in the first 100 laps. You may be asking, does Davey have a good luck charm? We've all seen rabbit's feet, we've seen Buckeyes, but guys, have you seen a good luck pumpkin? That's what's in the Haviland pits. Now, when they went to Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, they picked this good luck pumpkin up at a Mexican restaurant on Friday. We all know what happened. He won the race, reassumed the lead in the points championship. They painted a happy face on the front, and they painted a sad face, what's left of it, on the back. Now, this pumpkin has hit the wall a couple times. You can take a look there. But right now, while Davy's running well, they have the happy face showing. And believe me, folks, this pumpkin has been guarded more than the race car the past 2 weeks. So Davy's good luck charm so far working its magic.
Yeah, it's holding for him so far. Allison still on top of the point standings.
You know, as nervous as Davy was to begin the race, I'm sure when he drove through that second lap crash and avoided that, all the nervousness went away. He was no longer nervous.
I mentioned also that Hut Strickland also was sent to the local hospital in addition to Brett Bodine to be checked out for just an observation and the possibility of some injuries that they're not aware of here at the racetrack. Business gets relined for the start.
Business is fixing to pick up because we're going back green flag racing. Dale Earnhardt still a lap down to the leader, Mark Martin. Pulls up alongside Martin, going to try to get his lap back.
He's in 15th position, Benny. There are 14 cars now on the lead lap.
And if you're just joining us and you've noticed that Ned isn't saying a whole lot today, it's not because he's mad at us, I don't think. Ned is suffering from some laryngitis and couldn't utter hardly a sound yesterday and last night, but we're glad you got at least what you got today.
It's amazing. The biggest race of the year. And
not the way it goes.
Away, yeah.
As they're getting ready to go to restart, Darrell Waltrip's car is sitting on the pit road, and they're trying to adjust the toe in on it. The hood's damaged, the rear end's damaged, but they're trying to get him back on the racetrack. There's the Western Auto Chevrolet.
Well, the attendance here will far exceed last year's attendance of 122,300. The track officials estimated they would sell 60,000 hot dogs, 40,000 hamburgers, 100,000 sodas, 800 pizzas, 40,000 cups of coffee, and 40,000 cups of hot chocolate for this event. And that was before they learned that Benny would be having lunch here.
Okay, let's go.
Green flag waves.
Gets in front of Mark Martin.
Big cluster of cars behind the leaders. Bobby Hamilton, Harry Gant, Bill Elliott. That number 9 car is being driven by Chad Little and has Mayflower Moving sponsorship on it. And speaking of moving, there is Ernie Irvin.
He's moving through the pack, isn't he?
Everybody alongside.
Kyle Petty almost moved into the wall up between turn 3 and 4. He really did a great job of driving that car. I don't know if there's something wrong with it or not. But
yes, there is. There's something wrong with Kyle Petty's car. He's just not up to speed.
You can see him there on the outside of the black car with the green numbers. Here he is now going into turn 3. Might have got a little bit of help there from Sterling Marlin.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he went so high. Yeah. Okay.
Got a little bit of a bump from him.
Yep.
He was still trying to get his heart beating down in turns 1 and 2 when he started slowing down.
Kyle's running okay now, looks like. That's Rusty Wallace right beside him, now behind him. As we look from the Phillips 66 in-car camera being carried by Jimmy Hensley. Good run for Jimmy. He's being shown in 12th position.
No sponsorship yet for that team for 1993. Cale Yarborough Motorsports, they're looking, hoping to keep things together.
There's a host of Pontiacs. Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, Michael Waltrip.
Lots of announcements made here at Atlanta in the final race. Among them, Harry Gant will be switching to Chevrolet next year.
And big surprise, Rick Mast, after he won the pole, said they'd be switching to Fords.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The Richard Jackson team.
And also Bill Davis, remember, he's the guy that owns the #1 car, the Baby Ruth Ford on the Busch Grand National Circuit. He signed a 5-year deal with Maxwell House as Bobby Labonte as his driver to run Winston Cup. 5 years.
And the worst-kept secret in racing, Rick Wilson as the replacement for Richard Petty. That was officially announced on Thursday.
Derek Cope very high in turns 1 and 2. Almost got the wall with the Purelator Chevrolet.
Watching Harry Gant, Bill Elliott, and Alan Kulwicki.
Yeah, looks like Kyle Petty's back up to speed now. We don't see him on the screen, but I said a moment ago, looked like he had a problem. I think he was just trying to get his heart pumping again, get his composure. That's why he's slowing down in 1 and 2.
2, 3, 4, and 5 right there. Allison, Gant, Elliott, and Kulwicki. The leader of the race is Mark Martin.
Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit, had the best race car down here in March. Did not win the race. Bill Elliott won the race. Gant finished second, but he had by far the best race car. Now, if they can get it back to that level, he might be trouble.
Race is just about a third over. There are 328 laps in this event, and we're now at 109. If points were awarded right now, Allison would be the winner of the Winston Cup. He's running second. Kulwicki would finish second in the points. He's running fifth, and Elliott would be third. And now Mark Martin is trying to put Dale Earnhardt a lap down again.
He's closed up on the back bumper of Earnhardt. And Earnhardt's running high, Mark Martin running low.
And a good battle back of those guys as Alan Kulwicki has pulled alongside of Bill Elliott and now tries to take the position away. They come down the back stretch, and boy, it looked like they may have touched as they came off the corner.
They were awfully close, there's no doubt about it.
There was $1 million at stake. The Winston Cup champion not only wins that title, which is in the stock car world enough, he also wins $1 million.
We see Kulwicki going down. That time drove in alongside Bill Elliott. Here they come off the corner once again. Very, very close to touching as they go down the back straightaway. You see Kulwicki back off this as they go in the corner. Remember that second lap crash between Brett Bodine and Rick Wilson? You see, he doesn't want to go in there and not have the air to lean on. That's why he backs off going in the corner.
Now, Allen, I was going to say gets cleanly around him, but no, Elliott just won't give up while Ricky Rudd says, I may make this a 3-horse race.
Did I say Rick Wilson? I meant Rick Mast.
You can say Rick Wilson next year.
And now, Ricky Rudd pulls on the back of Kulwicki, gets him a little bit loose. He tries to take that spot away.
This time, Ricky Rudd was in the thick of the points battle, but 1992 has not been as good to him. He is 7th in points, and John Kernan is with the King.
Well, Richard Petty is sitting down here in the garage area. Richard, they're working on the car. Apparently, you're okay, but you're going to try and get the STP Pontiac fixed.
Well, we're looking to see what's going on. It busted the oil cooler in the radiator and it caught on fire, and I drove down there to a fire truck and got it put out. But I don't know that when it busted the oil cooler that it didn't run out of oil and mess up the bearings. So first thing I got to do is put it back together and then crank it up, and still got oil pressure. We might go out and run a few laps. The oil pressure's messed up, and naturally that's all over with, but no front fenders or nothing on it right now. It's tore up pretty bad.
You know, you'd rather go out in a blaze of glory, but you're almost out in a blaze today.
Yeah, it wasn't the kind of blaze of glory I wanted to go out in, but the main thing is nobody got hurt in the wreck, and I've spent 35 years doing this, and I'm still walking around talking, so good Lord looked after me for a long time.
Now, if you don't get it fixed to get back out, will you still be hanging around for the end of the race ceremonies that were scheduled?
Well, we'll sort of play that beer according to what everybody wants to do, and we'll take care of everybody.
All right, Richard Petty, despite the car catching on fire and sitting here in the garage in his last race, manages to flash that famous Petty smile.
And I hope that they can get that car back out and running. I would like to see the car on the racetrack when the checkered flag drops. Well, Mark Martin is still the leader of the race, and he has not yet put Dale Earnhardt a lap down, and Dale is in 15th.
He was alongside Earnhardt just a moment ago, not able to get by.
But now that those tires have heated up, Earnhardt is running that high groove again, and he's been able to pull away just a little bit.
Let's watch the telemetry one more time. 183. 190 miles an hour just at the end of the back straightaway.
And that was just about the same as it was early in the race, as the sun will start to play a factor in this race, and in fact it is already.
I tell you what, it's going to be miserable at the last 100 miles of this race. The drivers will be driving in turn 3 with very little visibility.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, easy for me to say.
Bill Elliott has just taken 3rd position from Harry Gant. Gant is 4th, Kulwicki is 5th, and the top 5 are all in the points race. This is an incredible adventure on a Sunday Sunday afternoon for NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, and we're delighted you can join us. Back in just a moment.
Here we're still just past the 120 lap mark, but you're exactly right. Good eyes. The car went in the corner, and the car began to push as Elliott was going by Davey Allison. Davey had to back out of the throttle just a little bit, which allowed Bill to zip right on by almost effortlessly.
Bill Elliott now is in second position, and Davey Allison is back to what, sixth?
Yep, back in sixth spot.
Closer to the halfway lap. If you have entered the Gillette Halfway Challenge and you are called at home and can name the driver who won the Gillette Halfway Challenge Award, coming up, you will win the new Chevrolet Lumina.
There's our leader, Mark Martin of Babylon Ford.
Good lead over second place man Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt continues just to inch away a little bit from Mark Martin. Earnhardt just hoping for a caution. He's already made up one lap, now wants to make up the other one.
Earnhardt might have the fastest car on the racetrack currently.
Yep.
Elliott and Kawicki trying to run down the leader.
Second and third in the race, and third and second in the point standings.
They're asking, in Bill Elliott's situation, asking Tim Brewer, Alan Kawicki's situation, asking Paul Andrews, their crew chiefs, what's happening to Davey? Where is he? What's he running? Or they're asking every lap, where's Davey? I wonder if they're keeping track. Are they just concentrating on what they're about, their job?
Well, I don't know whether or not the drivers know, but you fans at home sure know, because we keep you updated as to the points as of right now. Allison on top by 15. He's sixth in the race. Kawicki is third. Then Elliott, Martin, Gant, and Kyle Petty, who's having the worst race among those. Kyle Petty is in 18th position. There's the leader of the race, Mark Martin.
And he's moved from sixth to fifth in the points as of right now. There's Bill Elliott, second place car.
And then third, Kawicki, and fourth, Ricky Rudd. Martin won this race last year, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He sure did.
When Dale Earnhardt won the second straight championship.
they told me. First trip out for it.
He's a lap down in 16th position.
A couple of those guys that made that early pit stop.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a bunch of good cars. Kyle Petty was one of them that got caught down in that position.
And they had no choice. They were out of gas.
Yep.
Earnhardt, that's how he got 2 laps down. He ran out of gas, and they couldn't get the car restarted. He lost 2 laps on that first pit stop, where most of them only lost the 1 lap.
And right now, Earnhardt is moving away from Mark Martin. Martin might be slowing down a little bit because Bill Elliott is catching him.
And Quick is not letting Bill Elliott go any place that he's not shadowing him.
Staying right there with him.
Well, we timed 5 consecutive laps and now bring you the results with a Big A Auto Parts on-track interval. We timed Martin and Elliott to see whether or not the interval was closing down, and indeed it did close down on 5 consecutive laps. It went from an interval of 2.4 seconds on lap 120 down to 1.8 seconds on lap 124.
Just a tick over a half a second. And we can see how consistent Bill Elliott was. 32-1 every lap except that one, and that's when he passed the slower car, I'm sure.
Now we'll show you the interval between those second and third place competitors and the leader, Mark Martin. Not very much racetrack between them.
No. I tell you what, this has been a classic run for a championship. Bill Elliott, Alan Kawicki, we couldn't ask any two to do any more than they're doing. Just as hard as they can go each and every lap.
And I'm not a big cliche fan, and I almost hesitate to say this, but I don't know how else to make the point that the cream has risen to the top in this race, because the guys that are running for the points championship are running right up there toward the front and in the front in some cases.
And Dale Earnhardt he would definitely like to get a victory today, trying to salvage some of his season in 1992. Only 1 victory for the defending Winston Cup champion this year.
Here's an Autolite field summary for you. Watch for your favorite driver. This is how they crossed the line last time around, 1 lap ago.
Dale Earnhardt back in 15th on the lead lap.
There's Dale. He has pulled away from Mark by a whole bunch.
There goes Earnhardt. Dick Trickle's out of the race. And Ricky Rudd is slowing. Our 4th place car slowing dramatically.
The winner at Dover not too long ago, Ricky Rudd. And the guy that is 7th in the point standings is off the pace, and the report is he's lost his power steering.
Oh, man. It'll be a struggle trying to wrestle that thing around with no power steering. The problem is used to they didn't have power steering, but they adjusted the front end so he could drive the car. Now with power steering, the front end adjustment makes it almost impossible to turn it like most cars on the street.
But remember, a few years ago, of course, it has changed some with radial tires in particular, with the different settings of the front end to accommodate the radials. But Earnhardt lost power steering, wasn't it, at Bristol, one of the toughest tracks on the circuit, went on to win the race.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yep. Rudd has an 82-point lead on Darrell Waltrip in the point standings. There's King Richard Petty, who is at the moment out of the Hooters 500, being led by Mark Martin.
Did we? Yeah.
I was yelling at you to talk back, but Earnhardt is hooked up, eh?
Yeah.
Well, Martin now drops to 3rd. Yeah.
I see it's quite pushing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been back out there for quite a while. not long after the green came back on.
Another good run for Jimmy Spencer. Pit stops with about 10 laps, I'm told.
Second Winston Cup. He did it in 1988. Bill Elliott leads the Hooters 500. Second place belongs to Alan Kulwicki. And Mark Martin, who was leading this race just a few laps ago, has fallen all the way back to third position. So Bill Elliott now is at the front. And here's how Mark lost the lead.
Going in turn 3, Bill Elliott just pulls up on the outside. Martin realizes he's there as they come off the corner. Elliott has the momentum and just goes right by.
Not too long after that, Alan Kulwicki took the second position away from Mark Martin. Now here's Davey Allison involved in a battle with Jeff Bodine, the number 15. Lake Speed is also right there. And the number 12 car driven by Jimmy Spencer.
Spencer having another great run in Bobby Allison's car, currently showing in 8th spot.
And this battle between Davey Allison and Jeff Bodine is for 6th.
Get by, Spencer get by, put him back to 8th. Tighten up this point down, wouldn't it?
It would appear to me that several of these cars need pit stops. We're going to be expecting that.
Won't be long, I tell you.
Another 8 or 10 laps.
Looks like Bodine is able to make the pass. He has. Now Davy's back in 7th.
Yep. While we watch this, we will tell you that Ricky Rudd has been able to hold on to 5th position despite the loss of the power steering a few laps ago.
I think he adjusted to it pretty quickly. It had to be a shock when that thing went out. You know, what in the world has gone wrong here? Yep. Is it going to turn when it gets to the corner? But once he learned what it was, he has adjusted to it and still in 5th position.
Little doubt as to who the sentimental favorite is to win this race and the championship today. It is Georgia's Bill Elliott from Dawsonville. Now there's second and third, Kulwicki, a Wisconsin driver, and Mark Martin, originally from Indiana. Jerry, what's the problem on that car?
Well, Mark Martin was radioed and told his crew the car is getting very, very loose. Steve Mills told me they will plan to bring him in around lap 147. That's about 4 laps, about 3.5 laps away. So we'll watch and see him and bring the Valvoline car in and put some fresh tires on in about 3 laps.
From his in-car camera, you guys see evidence of him fighting the thing?
No, it doesn't look that way. Okay, now if we awarded the points right now, Davey Allison would win by 6 points over Kulwicki, by 11 over Bill Elliott. This thing is very, very close.
It is tightening up.
Whoa. 6 points.
There's Davey. Spencer in the number 12 car. And Lake Speed.
Once again, Lake a lap down to these 2 cars. But his car running equally as well as Allison's or Spencer's.
Just as we were talking about Morgan Shepherd, you know, slowing on the racetrack just before the big wreck happened. Well, Morgan is still out there running for his fans. He is 3 laps down, currently being shown in 27th position, but the Citgo Ford is still out there running.
There we are. Morgan Shepherd inside the Citgo Ford.
He's running pretty good now. I don't know what might have happened, if he had an ignition to go out or what happened, but he seems to be running fairly strong right now.
Those 24-degree banks don't look very steep when you're running that speed, do they?
No, they don't. Not from inside that race car. Believe me, that's exactly the view you see from inside that seat. They look about flat.
Bill Elliott continues to lead in the Budweiser Ford for Junior Johnson and Tim Brewer. Their second place, Kulwicki, and third, Mark Martin. Now, Jerry indicated that about lap 147 was the target for a pit stop on the Martin car. 47 occurred, lap 147 occurred, so maybe he will be coming in this lap.
We'll see. Here comes Earnhardt.
He ran out of gas. He didn't want to do that again.
That's right.
He was hoping for a caution, but he didn't get it. So he comes in this time, Jerry. He's not taking a chance of running out of gas. He's heading towards you.
Absolutely not, Ned. This is a scheduled pit stop for Dale Earnhardt. He is pitting down at the far end of pit road, right beside where they are waiting for Martin to come in. In fact, Martin should be coming in next time by. Earnhardt brings the Goodrich Chevrolet to a stop. And he had come from 2 laps down. The car running very well. They think that it may not have been a valve spring, quite honestly. They now think it may have a pinhole in the header, causing the car to shudder a little bit. That's why the car is still running as well as it is. They have changed right side tires. Now put the left side Goodyear Eagles on. Back with the lug nuts, fill it up with fuel, get ready to pull the jack, and Earnhardt is away.
Now he'll find himself until the leader's pit about 2 laps down. But they have a pit stop coming up. If they don't get caught like they did before with that caution coming out, well, he could still be okay.
Earnhardt's most recent win here in Atlanta was in 1990 in the Motorcraft Spring Race. Last time he won a fall race was in '89. There's Elliott continuing to lead. And it looks like he has stretched out the advantage a little bit on Kulwicki and Mark Martin. Martin staying out there.
Now Martin's car seems to be running. Now he's coming in now. He's coming in the pits this lap.
Down off the banking. Making sure he observes the speed limit on pit road, which is 55 miles an hour. Jerry, from the roof cam, we see him headed toward you.
And Mark Martin was trying to make this car last as many laps as he could, realizing the other leaders should be in between lap 154 and 157. He made it 3 extra laps, but the car was just going away. So now he brings the Valvoline Ford Thunderbird to a stop on pit road. Right side tires going on. Very, very diligently cleaning the windshield. Remember, as the sun gets lower here in the afternoon, that is a critical part of the pit stop. Getting that windshield clean so the driver can see. Now left side tires going on. They hope to be able to correct that loose race car. All lug nuts being fastened. He is down and away.
24-second pit stop for Mark Martin as he stays below that white line and gets it back on the track. John Kernan, Ricky Rudd is in.
It's a 4-tire change for Ricky Rudd. Talked with Gary DeHart, the crew chief, moments ago about the power steering. It is out. He thinks maybe a belt could have fallen off, gotten knocked off. So Ricky does not have power steering, having to adjust the way he drives the race car. Right's already on, left side's going on. They had hoped to get a caution so they can check under the hood. But Ricky will just take on 4 tires and 2 cans of fuel. He's down and away, headed towards turn 1.
Crew made a good pit stop. Jeff Gordon rolls off of pit road behind Ricky. So does Sterling Marlin. There's Jeff going out of the pits right now, and here comes Sterling. He's already gotten 4 new tires on the Maxwell House Ford and is building back up to speed as he heads into turn number 1.
Then shift in the 3rd gear. Playing with the gas. Now as he drives up on the bank, he'll shift in the 4th gear.
Yep.
Well, Kulwicki about to come into the pits. His crew there ready for him with the board out.
And when he does, he'll relinquish 2nd position.
Inside Sterling Marlin's car. 189. There comes Alan Kulwicki towards the pits, and Jerry Punch coming towards you.
And remember, Benny Parsons, he does not have first gear. NASCAR has allowed his crew to push the car off of pit road, so we'll watch to make sure the car doesn't stall. That could cost him some valuable time, maybe even a lap, if the car were to stall. Here's Kulwicki bringing the car number 7 in, hoping to pick up a win and a championship. Paul Andrews and the crew now. Danny Glad go to work. We would expect to see a routine 4-tire change. Right by Kulwicki, Davey Allison brings the Haviland Ford Thunderbird. They are pitting nose to tail here on pit road. 7 on the bottom of your screen, 28 on the top. They have already put the left side tires down on Kulwicki's car. He gets an assist. The car does fire and pulls away. They are still now working on the Davey Allison Haviland Ford Thunderbird, our point leader, getting left side tire. Crew very, very deliberate to make sure every lug nut is fastened. Then he puts it back in gear, spins the tires, and he's away.
Allison moving back out. Others are making stops now. Terry Labonte brings his car into pit road. There is Terry in the Sunoco car. John Kernan right there.
This will be another 4-tire change, making sure that they get the windshields clean. Paul Becker, the PR man out there, actually doing windshield service today. Right side's already on, left's going on. Jimmy Spencer, guys, is a car to watch. He just came in and only changed right side tires 1 lap ago. Terry Labonte is now finished with pit work, and he is headed down pit road.
Well, Terry Labonte started this race from 6th position, and here comes Bill Elliott. The leader is on pit road. Again, slowing to make sure he observes the speed limit. Jerry.
And a 4-time winner in Atlanta Motor Speedway and the favorite son of many of the Georgia faithful in this capacity crowd today. Watch and wait as the Budweiser Ford Thunderbird comes to a halt. Tim Brewer and the crew go to work. Mike Hill. They all are changing all 4 tires, fueling the car. Henry Benfield lugs that 75-pound fuel can, shoves it against the left side of the car. Left side jack the car. Lug nuts going on. Fresh Goodyear Eagle. Bill sitting very patiently. And now 21.3 seconds. You heard Elliott squeal away. He will go in the championship.
Elliott back out on the racetrack as he continues his pursuit for his 2nd NASCAR Winston Cup. Here now is the driver who has taken over the lead of the race as Harry Gant comes in. Ernie Irvin, the leader. We'll watch Gant's pit stop. John, are you there?
Just got here, Bob. It's going to be a 4-tire change. No chassis adjustment made yet. They're making sure they get the windshield clean. Jerry mentioned that's very critical this stage of the day. Right side tires already on, left side's going on. A smooth pit stop in motion. Harry Gant waiting. Now finally he's down the way.
The Skoal Bandit rolls back out onto the racetrack. And Mark Martin is slowing here on the main straightaway. Mark's Valvoline Ford is off the pace dramatically. And he has cut off the engine.
Well, evidently it was blown. Well, it's still running. 4,000 RPMs in 4th gear.
And you can hear the engine running.
He's trying to accelerate, but he'll only turn about 4,400. Jerry, what's the problem?
We're walking along beside Steve Mills. Steve, what's wrong with the car?
All right, quit running. Fan quit turning over. It popped a little bit of smoke out of the pipes coming in the first turn for a couple laps, and he said it shook real bad up the backstretch and figures it broke a crank or something.
We'll let him go into the garage area. Thank you, Steve. Steve headed to the garage area here, talking to his driver, and apparently the day is over, and so is the championship hunt for Mark Martin.
And so there are now 5 still in contention for the NASCAR Winston Cup as Mark Martin, who won this race last year and who came into this event 6th in the points, 113 behind Davey Allison, coasts down pit road and will be, we presume, turning in to the garage area. He's still on pit road and in fact is going to keep going.
But it didn't break a crankshaft because it wouldn't be turning 4,000 RPMs with a broken crankshaft.
Nope. He has some other problem. There's the leader, Ernie Irvin.
He has not pitted yet here.
He's getting good gas mileage on it, sure is.
Jerry, got an update?
Guys, as Mark Martin came by us on pit road, I was standing beside Steve Mill, who was running toward the garage area. We both stopped. The car came by, was sputtering. It seemed to catch fire, started sputtering again, so Mark continued back on the racetrack.
they're hoping possibly it may be something less than inside the engine as they get the halfway point here in the season finale.
And while all that was going on, we get a better indication of why Ernie Irvan stayed out on the racetrack as long as he could, because the halfway lap has arrived. And Ernie Irvan is about to pick up $10,000 as the leader at the halfway point and winner of the Gillette Halfway Challenge. There the cross flags. Ernie Irvan is the leader and the winner of the Halfway Challenge. He takes home the $10,000 reward, and if you have entered the contest and are called at home, and you can correctly identify the winner of the Gillette Halfway Challenge, you could win a Chevrolet Lumina Z34. Again, the name to tell them, Ernie Irvan. Mark Martin's car is behind the wall. And Bill Elliott, who has made his pit stop, finds himself in 4th position. Back up to speed.
But Irvan coming into the pits. Ted Musgrave had stayed out there. He was ahead of Elliott, but he's coming in right now. And it looks like Jeff Gordon might have a problem on the backstretch. He's going very slow. Maybe run out of gas.
Going slow down pit road is Ernie Irvan. Jerry.
And somewhat of an obstacle, he has to go around the car of Lake Speed, and it's stalled on pit road. Also get around the car of Morgan Shepherd. Here, the Kodak crew working on Ernie Irvan's car. We mentioned Ernie Irvan won $10,000 for leading the halfway point. A $25,000 bonus just went to Davey Allison for winning the most halfway points this year in the Gillette program. The only other ones who could have gotten that were Bill Elliott and Alan Kawicki. But by Ernie Irvan winning the 10 grand, as you watch his car exiting pit road in a little over 20 seconds with 4 tires, that would give a $25,000 bonus to Davey Allison.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road. His car very slowly down the backstretch. He was able to make it into the pits, and might he have run out of fuel?
No, I don't know. They haven't put any in it yet.
He stopped just a few laps ago, so he did not run out of fuel. Evidently had a flat tire, something wrong with one of the tires.
Probably had a vibration, didn't know which one it was, and so he's putting all 4 on.
Davey Allison working his way through the traffic, racing with Sterling Marlin. There is Bill Elliott and Alan Kawicki. We will be back in just a moment to update you on the points in this 1992 season finale of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
Spencer's 3rd. Rudd is 4th. Ernie's 5th. I guess Sterling is 6th. Rust is 7th. Davey 8th. Terry 9th.
We doing SeaWorld? Okay.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. New headset.
Jeff Gordon back in the fence.
If points were awarded right now, Davey Allison would be the NASCAR Winston Cup champion. He is currently 7th. Alan Kawicki, who is 3rd in the race, would finish 9 points behind Alan. Elliott is the leader of the race.
That's 11 points. Jenkins.
Oh, man. And Gant, who is 10th, would be 4th in the points. Kyle Petty, 15th. In the race right now would be 5th. Mark Martin out of the race. He should hold on to his 6th in the point standings because he came into this event 168 ahead of Ricky Rudd. Let's see, 9th. Yeah, by golly, you're right, Benny. I do that. There's the leader, Elliott, and Jerry is with Mark Martin. John Kernan is with Mark Martin.
Like I've told you many times, we sure look alike, Jerry and I, sometimes. Standing here with Mark Martin in the garage area. And, Mark, we can see on the telemetry your RPM's just cut right now down to about 4,000. Do you know what happened?
It acted like it burned a piston or something. Started smoking out the pipes. And, you know, the 42 and the 33 were at full song. There wasn't much we could do. We could have tried to run 60, 70 miles an hour around the racetrack and offended NASCAR and everybody else, but we weren't going to be able to do anything about the situation. But, you know, just park it, and I'd have to just say I'm awful proud of Jack Roush and Steve Meal and this whole Valvoline team, and I want to thank Goodyear for putting us on the greatest radials I've ever driven on here, and thank Folgers for hanging in there with us this year. We've had a real good year, and we've got a lot to look forward to next year.
That's right. They certainly do have a lot to look forward to. In fact, Steve Meal says they're already working towards 1993. Bob?
2 wins in 1992 for Mark Martin at Martinsville and at Charlotte. And his year is over as the Valvoline Ford is behind the wall. Well, things have kind of settled down here as we have completed 174 laps of this event. Bill Elliott is leading over Alan Kulwicki. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yes. Do you need to move the box or me?
Okay.
Move me or the box?
Davey ran over something. He just radioed, and I think I got to come in. I think I may have run over something and cut a tire. He just radioed to the crew. They're all running around down here grabbing tires.
Jeff Gordon's just dropped out of the race.
Okay, I'm on a new headset. I sound okay? This is Benny on a new headset. Sound okay? What are they looking at?
Dan is off the face just a little bit.
Texaco Haviland crew of Davey Allison watches their driver very closely. They have been told that there may be a problem with the car. Now there is Rusty Wallace on the racetrack trying to pass him. Davey hasn't seemed to have slowed up very much, but we'll watch that situation very carefully. Jerry, can you update us?
While we were in commercial, Bob, Davey just yelled to the crew, I think I run over something on the track and cut a left front tire. They all scampered up to the pit wall with tires. Davey said, wait a minute. He said, it may not be cut. It may just be a vibrating exhaust pipe. So he ran another lap. He backed off the throttle for about half a lap. Then he came back to full throttle. So I think it's okay, guys. I believe we're going to be all right. So everyone's heart skipped a beat down here in the Haviland pit.
But he has dropped from 6th to 9th position, as both Rusty and Terry Labonte have been able to get around him. Following this race, and again, we urge you to stay tuned if you have any love at all for auto racing and for the King, because we're going to present a very important and special program, Portrait of a King. That will be immediately following our live telecast of this Hooters 500. Dave Despain will be hosting that program, and it is a dandy. Elliott, the Georgia native, in front of his hometown fans, leads the Hooters 500. Alan Kulwicki not too far behind in second place.
He's only about 15 car lengths behind Bill. He's steadily, inch by inch, gaining on the Budweiser Ford. You know what I mean, inch by inch? That's basically what it is, just inches.
Not too far in front. You saw him there, Harry Gant. is about to go a lap down. Dale Earnhardt just went around Harry Gant, so he has made up a lap on him. Really, Earnhardt still running out in front of Elliott.